So apparently we were told to vote twice. So making its round on the news, at least in some of the news articles like CNN and MSNBC, they're trying to claim that President Donald Trump in his meeting and or press conference in Wilmington, North Carolina, encouraged the people to vote twice. But is that really what happened? So take a look at some of the news article clippings just to show you the perspective they're already coming at with it. Okay, so that's the perspective from some of the news articles. As you can see, the slant that some of them are saying is that he encouraged them to vote twice. But what did he actually say? Let me go ahead and roll that clip, and then we will discuss.
Because a lot of people say, just leave me alone. I'm going to vote the way I want to vote. And then they go into their vote for Trump. On your ballots, if you get the unsolicited ballots, send it in and then go make sure it counted. And if it doesn't tabulate, you vote. You just vote. And then if they tabulate it very late, which they shouldn't be doing, they'll see you voted, and so it won't count. So send it in early and then go and vote. And if it's not tabulated, you vote, and the vote is going to count. You can't let them take your vote away. These people are playing dirty politics.
Okay, so for those who don't know, if you do a absentee and or mail-in ballot, your vote, your name is recorded in the voting logs. And if you do so early enough prior to actual election day, you are able to go to the polling places to confirm if whether or not if your vote was counted, and they can look into the logs and see, yes, your vote was counted. So yes, there is accountability so long as everything runs smoothly regarding the mail-in ballots getting counted on time. And that's what Trump, as you heard from the video, was proposing that they do in the beginning was, yes, vote if you do want to vote early, and you'll do the mail-in ballots, vote early using the mail-in ballots, but then come election day, go to the polling places to see if your vote was counted. So he really was encouraging them to vote early so that they had enough time for your vote to be logged for you to be able to confirm. Here's where the problem entails, or where the problem lies. As we know, the United States Postal Office is very inefficient, slow, especially when you compare to other parcel services like FedEx or UPS. And that's just the case with almost any government-run agency when you compare it to a corporation. They're not nearly as efficient. And so there is a possibility that your vote is out there to be counted, but just was not registered on time, not until after the election day. So if you go to the polling places, you did vote early using mail-in ballots, but it just wasn't registered yet. And if it's not showing up there, you say, hey, you didn't count my vote. Let me go out and do my vote in person then. And then your mail-in ballot comes in after the fact, and now it's showing in there potentially twice, with the hope that, okay, if the system really does work, then they'll see, hey, this person already voted, let's not count this vote then again. So it does make double work, and it also just opens up the whole problem with the potential for universal mail-in voting. My thing also is, if you're willing to go to the polling places to double check, why even do the mail-in ballot to begin with if you're willing to go? So, I mean, that just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Now, here's my thing. When you look at some of those articles claiming he encouraged people to vote twice, really takes some mental gymnastics. Because again, clearly he's saying he wants your vote to only count once. He just wants to make sure that the vote is counted and verified. Clearly he's saying that. So that just shows media bias right out of the gate. How can you really even trust the source if you know the entire time they're going to be coming at it with a biased spin? And here's the problem too. When so much of the media coverage is coming at it with a biased negative spin, the weight of all of that biased opinion bears on the individual and on the populace, and they start to think, well, if CNN is saying it, as well as MSNBC and ABC, it must be true. At the very, I don't know whatever happened to objective journalism, but it's dead. At least this NBC 10, which is a local news outlet in Philadelphia, or Philly, where I'm originally from, at least they presented it from an objective perspective, where they said just what Trump said, which was that they were just looking for verification. But this whole mail-in ballot, universal mail-in ballot, is just ripe with fraud and/or potential problems. If you don't see it, you're from my perspective, you're just naive. But I would love to hear your comments and thoughts in the comment section. Now, my perspective is, if you've been going to Walmart, Target, Trader Joe's, Kroger, HEB, Super Fresh, ShopRite, Pathmart, whatever your local market chain is, whatever your local supermarket is, if you've been going to them for the past several months during this lockdown, you can go vote in person. If you can safely social distance at a supermarket, if you can safely shop at a supermarket and wear a mask, you can vote in person. If you were one of the tens of thousands who were out there protesting since George Floyd, or participating in the riots, not that you want to admit that you were out causing destruction and arson and beating up on people, but if you were amongst those crowds, marching, protesting, rioting, looting, whatever the case, all of the above, you can vote in person safely. For those who can actually claim they have not been doing any of those, not going to the CVS, Walgreens, whatever the case, they've literally been shut in their house and they have not stepped foot off their property. Okay, you have an argument that you can make, that's okay. But to say we need to do universal mail-in voting because it's not safe, it just does not make any logical sense. That's not lining up consistently. But if you disagree, I want to encourage you to leave your comments down below. Keep an open discussion. I want to hear them. If you agree with me, please like, share, and/or subscribe. So those are my thoughts on the president's comments, as well as the potential for mail-in fraud and/or mail-in voting versus voting in person. I think it's right with errors, and President Trump just exposed it and exposed the flaw in the argument to do mail-in ballots. So I just want to hear your thoughts below in the comment section. And again, I will respond. Otherwise, if you do agree that there's just a lot of media bias regarding the spin of this story, again, I want to hear not only your voice, but please like, share, and/or subscribe to get the message out there. And I shall talk to y'all later. Peace.